Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with Juls. Juls, you're Ghanaian.
Yes, I am.
You're a producer, you're a DJ, of course. But the love of Afrobeats, where did it all start?
So I grew up in a family where, my dad was, a jazz lover, but my mom is from Takoradi in the Western region.
Okay.
And that's where high life is very heavily oriented. So as a young child, you hear all these sounds, CK Man, Daddy Lumba, Kojo Entry. I don't know if you guys heard of these names before.
There's one Ghanaian in the building.
Yeah. But I used to hear these sounds over and over and over again. And even though you grew up in London, you still hear all these African sounds and it just becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
I've always loved music, and with regards to my production or my sounds, I always wanted my beats to have, that African sound in it. I could decide to go and make hip-hop beats if I wanted to, but then I wouldn't be staying true to my original roots, which is, Ghanaian or, Africa. So I believe Fela Kuti is actually the originator of Afrobeat before things started to change to Afrobeats. They're two different things. And I just started listening to that music over and over and over again, and then I just complemented it with the style that I have, which is production, like hip-hop. I love hip-hop, but I like to sort of mix the two together, give it a little bit more authenticity in it.
Okay, we're going to go a little bit deeper, as to how you got from there to the stage you reached now. But Smade, there was a stage where, I used to go out a lot. So there was a stage where yes, but everywhere I'd go, Smade is involved somehow. The early stages of working with some, African promoters in Cocoa Bar, they were putting together a lot of events. You worked with a few people then. But I just remember you being around and just, facilitating a lot of things. But to get to a stage now where, we've got Smade as the company, the event organizer, what made you take that big step?
Well, I should say I started from house parties. We started from throwing house parties, then we moved on to club gigs, and then now we're trying the big shows. I love Afrobeats. Afrobeats is me. When I'm in club myself, I can't wait for Neptizo, whoever the DJ is to drop.
Big shout out to DJ Neptizo in the building.
So yeah. So the interest first came from when I was in school. I used to throw house parties, and we moved on to club gigs. And then the band, Don Jazzy, were the hot things then, and everyone was like, oh yeah, we want to see Don Jazzy and the band and the Mohits crew. So yeah, Coco Bar, who was like my big brother, I used to work with him doing concerts. So we met up, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring these guys down," and we did Indigo 2, and it was the biggest concert I'd ever seen. And from then on, I said to myself, I was going to bring every popping artist down to the UK, and I think so far
you've done that. Yes, you definitely have done that.
So,
that is for sure. Everyone's been to a Smade concert.
So we've done tours, not just in London. We've gone to Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, Dubai with Banky W. So yeah, we've been around the world. I've taken whiskey to Gambia. Any Gambians in the house? No? Okay. Yeah.
There's always one, surely.
So yeah, last year I took Lil Kesh to Ghana as well. Any Ghanaians? Yeah. So we went to Accra, we went to Kumasi, and for me, it's just a passion, the love for Afrobeats, and I'm not stopping now. So just in case you're asking when I'm going to stop.
No, you're not stopping. We don't want you to stop either. Banky, Smade mentioned the band and a few others, at the early stages of our generation of Afrobeats, and I can rightly say you're definitely from that generation. Going back a little bit, you're a New Yorker. You're a New York man. You was in New York, of course, and then I want to understand, how do we get from you being in New York, you was there with family, I'm assuming, to you now becoming one of the biggest artists in Africa, revolutionizing R&B music in Africa, because every time I go into a club and I see Banky W, there will be 55 women just trying to show them a new R&B dance. Banky, how did we get there, Banky?
I don't know anything about 55 women in a club.
Banky, that's a throwback Thursday. I got you, bro. It's a throwback Thursday.
I was in New York, and I went to school there. I studied industrial engineering. But while
He's educated, ladies and gentlemen.
You can clap for that. It's a degree. It's all right. But while I was in New York, going to college, I started recording music. And at the time, like you said, I mean, we've been around for a while. And at the time, being African was just starting to be cool. Like then they didn't really understand who we were. So you would meet somebody and tell them, oh, I'm from Africa, I'm from Nigeria. They'll say, how did you get here?
Yes.
Do you wrestle lions? Like, do you live in a tree? They ask you all these kinds of stupid questions. And it really was because of ignorance, right? Because all they knew of Africa was what the Discovery Channel showed them. And those little ads that say, for $1 a day, you can sponsor 50 African kids.
It's the same kid.
Send them a
since
letter.
The 70s.
He
has not grown, that kid. Same kid. I know black don't crack, but he needs to crack. Sorry, Banky.
And that's not to say that there isn't poverty in Africa. That's not to say that there isn't poverty or unemployment or anything else. However, we are so much more than our problems. And I always felt like, we just had a problem living up to our potential. And I think through the music and through the movies and through entertainment, we started to show the world what we're really made of. And for me, it probably happened when the day that I met Two-Face and the day that I met LD was very instrumental in my life, because I saw people making African music that had some sort of international flavor, because I was always stuck between both worlds. Like, I'm partly from Yankee, partly from Nigeria. How do I make music that represents me in its entirety? And meeting Two-Face and meeting LD really kind of changed my perspective, and it made me even prouder to be Nigerian. I'm prouder to be African. I'm prouder to wear that on my sleeve and rep it wherever I went. And with that new era of music, I think the world's perception of Africa and Nigeria and all the countries that make up Africa and who we are as a people started to change, because music is like a gift from God. It's powerful. It transcends boundaries. Good music is good music. I danced to Sean Paul. I didn't understand half of what he said. But if it was good and somehow you connected to it, whether it was the lyrics or the beat or the flow or the melody, you would appreciate it. And I really feel like now the world is starting to see what Africa really and truly is made of. And I'm proud to be part of that generation.
Banky W, absolutely, absolutely. So before we get to this, we definitely have to go move back. Just in case, for those who can't hear at the back, and for those who can hear, every time someone speaks, please just pass on a little shh. This is Africa. So every time, because I think a lot of things that have been said here are extremely important, and I'm sure that's the reason why you guys are here. So let's do that now. We're going to have a break, though. You guys can communicate during the break. So going back to a stage, I remember being at university and listening to Two-Face, listening to one song called Premier Gao. I think the Ivorians don't get enough, what's the word I'm looking for, credit for keeping us alive in parties. But and then suddenly there was just this frenzy of Afrobeat songs coming into parties. Then you heard that the banjis eventually they started coming through. That you're saying the LDs around the corner, of course. But we felt to hear, because already we were starved of the music, right? So was it the same? Do you think back home, because obviously they had different genres of music and stuff, whatever. For us, it was like we needed something that can be able to mix between the kind of sounds we hear here and the African sound. Do you think they felt the same impact over there that we were feeling here when it first kicked off? In the States and here in the UK. The States kind of received the whole Afrobeats wave a little bit later on.
Well, I think the beautiful thing about the UK and certain parts of Europe is that probably because, so wherever you go in this world, you will find Africans.
Yes.
Okay, not just on the African continent. London is like Lagos. Literally.
Peckham is
for
like
every
Lagos.
2 or 3, Peckham is Lagos,
yes.
actually.
Yeah,
it's not like
it
it is.
is.
But, and I think that by nature or I don't know if it's our culture or just the way that we're wired, Africans and Nigerians, I mean, I'm Nigerian, so I can speak more towards Nigerian people and the Nigerian mindset. But anywhere that you go, a Nigerian, you will find, if you go to China today, you will see a Nigerian man speaking Chinese, you know, influencing his environment. Like, that's just what Africans do. That's what Nigerians do. And I think that the UK and Europe benefited from that, because the reason that Afrobeats blew up here was not because of any one specific artist, but it was because of the Africans here that influenced their environment. That power that you have over your circle of friends, that you going to the DJ and saying, listen, play this song is hot. All of those little drops of water made the ocean that we see now. And because there's such a strong, you can clap, it's okay, I like clapping.
If you feel it in your soul, release it.
But I think, I honestly think that it's a testament to the strength of Africa and Africans that's why the music blew up here before anywhere else in the world. The US is just now starting to catch up to what you guys have known for years. And that really is more due to the Africans that have been here that are influencing the environment and showing people that, listen, good music is good music, man. Whether it's an African that sings it or somebody from somewhere else, if it's great music, people will connect to it.
Exactly.
That's what